Taxation of funds that are imported into the country. And I want to say that this has been misrepresented. People are saying we are increasing excise duty from 10% to 25%, making mobile phones more expensive. Far from it, these are the facts. Today, there are various taxes on telephones. If you bring your telephone from anywhere in the world, you arrive with it at the port, whether Jomo Kenyatta International Airport or at the port of Mombasa, there are taxes. So let me take you through the taxes. Tax number one is VAT, right? So when you pay VAT at the point of entry, that is a tax. You pay excise duty at 10%. VAT is at 16%, right? Excise duty, 10%. Then there is what we call custom duty, 25%. Then there is import declaration fee, is at 2%. Then there is railway development levy, 2.5%. If you add all that, it's 55.5%. Now we are saying, don't do that. We are not going to ask you to pay anything at the port of entry. Bring your phone the way you want it, bring it through Namanga, bring it through Mombasa, bring it through JKIA, no one will bother you. You walk with it, you can carry it, you can carry a whole container of phones, go to your store. Keep it as long as you want. But the day you sell it to Sheila, and Sheila decides to use it, activate it, now we are coming for our tax. But the tax we are coming for is one. We will not ask you VAT, we will not ask you those customs duty, we will not ask you IDL, all those railway development levy. We are asking you for only one tax, that is excise duty, at 25%. So, if you aggregate all these taxes at the point of entry, which we are removing, and only charging one tax at the point of activation, is 25%. So you are solving how many problems? Many problems. Number one, you are making tax simple. Very simple. Because it is one, and you don't have to calculate VAT, what along the supply chain until it reaches Kisumu, wherever. No, one tax. Number two, which you are also collecting, is that if the phone has not been sold, no one is paying tax. So you are not tying people's money before they sell. These traders want liquidity. Don't tie their money. They have already paid you tax, and the phone has not been sold out. It's still in the store. It has already incurred expenses. We are removing that and only taxing a phone that has been sold. How easy can it be? And that is what you see these propagandists around. Either they don't understand, or they have problems with understanding, or both.
Alright guys, mobile phones are our day-to-day, so are we satisfied with that proposal?
No!
No?
No!
Alright, I'll be getting now your feedback on that. It's okay, there's yes and no on that. Josh, I'm sorry, before you pass the baton to Andren Kilimi, any further comments?
Asante sana Sheila, tusikilize baadhi ya yale ambayo hadhira yetu inafaa izungumzie, na iwapo una swali nyanyua mkono wako juu ili tuweze kuzungumza. Kuna kijana hapa, tusikilize sauti zao. Unasema jina lako alafu swali lako kwa kifupi kwa waziri.
Thank you so much. My name is Oinaina Gishere. I'm a Arsenal supporter and from the deepest village in Nyeri called Wamunyoro. Now, Waziri, I have a question on fuel. There is a proposal for my brother, a very sharp brother of mine from Kiharo. He's saying that we make fuel VAT exempt, we reduce fuel levy by 7%, we also reduce importation margin by around 4 shillings per litre, and then we provide 5 billion to subsidize diesel. Can that work, and when will that work? My second question, very fast. You say there's a proposal to tax those who are not paying tax.
Can you just come back to the VAT exempt.
Make fuel VAT exempt.
7 shillings.
Yeah, and reduce importation margin for those who are importing by 4 shillings.
Importation margin by 4 shillings.
And then provide 5 billion to subsidize fuel. My second question, very fast, is on, you said we are proposing taxes on those who are not paying tax. But the services that these people who are not paying tax, they are directly affecting the Kenyans, the common wananchis. I think the proposals that are being proposed in the finance bill should come hand in hand with measures to caution Kenyans from these people who are not paying tax. If you introduce a 16% VAT on M-Pesa, what measures are we taking to make sure that this M-Pesa VAT is not, I'm not paying that 16%. Instead, it's the provider that is paying.
Okay, fantastic. I think let's get to one question before you answer that, Waziri. One question around the mobile phones. Around the mobile phones. All right, at the back there. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. In Kenyan law, Act 46, Article 43, Article 40, and Article 31, it says that a Kenyan has a financial freedom. Then why is it that in the financial bill it says that like you have a right to M-Pesa and kindly where did that act of financial bill went to
Thank you very much. Let me address my friend Wainaina from Munyoro. Actually, the one who said is from Munyoro. This 16% VAT on M-Pesa, I don't know where you got it. But I don't think we have that.
Maybe you could bust that myth. Why is he misinformed?
Yeah, but because my friend here, Wainaina, I'm sure, can access website of Treasury and even Parliament to see the correct bill. Because, of course, I don't blame you. You know, there have been so many finance bills lying around.
Yes.
No. There is no tax on financial services. I think what you're talking about is the card. The card services. The card has nothing to do with M-Pesa. Those card services. Those people who have innovated the cards supply that service to who? To the banks, isn't it? Are they not getting income from the bank? And most of them are not Kenyans. But they go away with the money without paying any tax. Is that the country we want to live in? That is now what we come to the procedure. We now have KRA, the banks, to agree on how to implement. Ours here is to put in place legal framework. Then now, how to implement it, that is administrative. That will have to be done to. Now, on the issue of Ndili Nyoro, first of all, tell him, he said that we should provide 5 billion to subsidize fuel. Tell him we did that before he said it. We provided 5 billion and I said it's here. And we have now even added another 2.7 billion. The first month, we supplied 6.2 billion. The second month, it was 5. We have already provided 11.2. We are even adding 2.7. So tell him we are at 13.9, way beyond the 5 billion. This 5 billion will leave the prices of fuel very high. In fact, diesel will go to 300. So tell him he's not an expert. On VAT exempt, it is easy, very easy to say, put VAT at zero. My friend, let me address you.
Yes.
Sheila, the 8% drop in VAT, we lost 12 billion in 1 month. And up to the end of June, we will lose 24 billion. We are implementing a budget. We are already in May. Almost the entire development budget has been implemented. So you can't cut it. Money must be transferred to counties. I will tell you already KRA, as we speak. Where are we going to get more money? It is easy to say, remove VAT. That hole, where will we get that money? Do we go and borrow more loans from the domestic market? Because now we cannot negotiate with any external financier to support us. We cannot even go to the external market. The external market today is not existing because of the war in Iraq. You can't even get Eurobond today. I don't know whether you're aware of it. So, the only option available for us is either to stop paying people's salary up to the end of June, or reduce people's salary, the public servants, those who are in the payroll. We reduce their salary. Or, because that is what is left, we have salary up to June. Can we cut their salary?
Yes.
Number two, we can go to the domestic market and borrow more. What has Kenyans been saying? What have you been saying? You have been saying, please don't overboard. So, as we talk of fixing this short-term crisis with measures as removing taxes, let us also think of the consequences. And I'm not saying that cannot be done. That is why I say desperate times call for desperate measures.
Right.
If that is where it will come to, and government will make their decision, so be it that there will be consequences. Then, on the issue of fuel levy of 7 shillings, you know, Ndindi, my friend Ndindi is becoming just notorious and mischievous. He knows very well that 7 shillings is not. That 7 shilling has been sold. That 7 shilling has helped us to raise money to restart all the road projects that we are seeing across the country. It is not money that is available to us anymore. It's money that we have used to do the Mau Mau roads. They are stored. Uhuru Kenyatta left them stored. The roads in Suba were stored. The roads, yes, they like steel. The roads in northern Kenya, which was being done, are stored. The contractors had left the site. All these roads, including in Mombasa, Lokokundu and the rest, those roads have been restarted and they are going on.
All right.
Now, that money was used to raise money to do these roads. And he's saying that that money should be removed from the field. It is not there. We had sold that.
All right. And there was a last question. I don't know if we...
No, the last question, which she asked, I'm trying to remember.
All right. She's speaking on M-Pesa.
Yeah, no, I got it. Actually, I think the question my sister was asking was about financial data, security of data. You know, there's been that discussion. If I'm wrong, you can correct me. But I think you are asking whether now we will access your financial records, and you are quoting the Article 43, the rights to housing, right to health, and I think that you're quoting Article 10, freedom, many other freedoms. And let me tell you, let me be very candid on this. Financial records should never be kept secret. If you allow people to keep their financial records, no one will pay tax. Financial records, there is nothing secret about financial records. We are not asking you about who is your boyfriend or your girlfriend. KRA will not come for that. Those are now private information. But financial data and statistics should be clear. That is why even companies, today if I ask, for example, if Equity decides that they want to keep their financial data secret, that they don't want to declare how much they have made in terms of interest on loans, who will pay tax in this country? And yet, there are people who have been hiding behind data privacy, not to declare other sources of income they have. You find people having billions of shillings, millions of shillings in their accounts, and they are filing nil return. They are filing nil return, that a whole year, they have made zero return. Nothing, they have not made any money. Yet, they have 50 million, they are going to buy an apartment. How unfair can that be? Yet you, Sheila, out of your salary, I guess maybe you earn more, but let's say you earn 100,000. That 100,000, you are surrendering not less than 30,000. Is that not correct? Yet, someone who is has 50 million somewhere, not explained, is buying apartments all over the place, and when you go for that money, you are told that you are infringing on their privacy. My friend, in this hall, I don't even see those people you are going for. You are not here. Those people are out there. Don't protect them. Let us go for that tax so that we can reduce the little tax on the little income.
All right. From there, I want to hand it over to Andrine Kilemi on the other side. Andrine, talk to us.
Alright, asante sana Sheila Chelangat na waziri. Waziri niko upande huu wako wa kulia. Naam, hapa. Asante sana. Unajua katika mazungumzo yako waziri umekuwa ukirejelea propaganda kwamba kuna watu au wananchi ambao hawaelewi kidogo kuhusiana na vitu ambavyo viko kwenye mswada wa fedha wa mwaka 2026. Kwa hivyo wizara yako inafanya nini kuhakikisha kwamba hizi propaganda zinasitishwa? Kwa sababu kwa upande wangu ni kana kwamba hamjafanya vya kutosha kuweza kucreate awareness ambayo tunasema ni kule kuwahamasisha wananchi zaidi.
Thank you very much. I agree with you that sometimes we have not communicated properly and effectively some of these tax measures that have been proposed, including even the budget. But again, you'll agree with me that the direction we have taken or the trajectory that National Treasury is taking has changed. One of those, what I would call public participation forums is this one. Look at the number that we have in the hall. And I'm sure those who are watching it out there are even more. So this is the kind of engagement that is making people more and more engaged. And the way we produce the finance bill, we started the discussion immediately. So people have discussed and brought propaganda. We have explained those propaganda to where we are, including taxing rental income at 10%, up from 7.5. It is not in the bill. Yeah, and we have explained that. Yet, the initial reaction was that that's something that is in our bill. So we are communicating, we are educating ourselves, and we will do more going forward. But Parliament, National Assembly, is also doing the same as we speak. But we have made some tremendous progress in terms of engaging.
Asante sana kwa hilo waziri. Labda swali langu la pili ni kuhusiana na wananchi sasa wana muda wa hadi Mei tarehe 25 mwezi huu kuwasilisha maoni yao kuhusiana na mapendekezo ambayo yatakuwa yakitekelezwa kuanzia Julai mosi. Je, hii ni formality au ni kitu ambacho kitazingatiwa kwa undani? Iwapo Wakenya watapinga, basi mtakuwa mkiondoa lile ambalo Wakenya wengi watakuwa wamepinga?
If you notice from 2024 that the voice of Kenyans has been heard, the common Kenyan has been heard. Apart from losing the finance bill in its entirety in 2024, the president heard the people of Kenya when they demonstrated in the streets and almost turned violent, actually turned violent, yeah, and pulled out the finance bill that has been passed by the National Assembly. 2025, if you look at the bill that came to the National Assembly, it had minimal, if not zero, adjustments of tax laws. Together also with the tax laws amendment bill of 2024. And this bill is the same. It is a response to people's comments. It's a response to public participation. If you look at even the way I'm approaching this debate today, I am not speaking fast because I want Kenyans to understand what we are trying to do. We want to be as simple as possible. I am not even using technical terms. The moment we get feedback from Kenyans, National Assembly will introduce amendments to the bill, which then would correct those issues that Kenya has problem with, the Kenyans have problem with. So it is not an academic exercise. It is an exercise that will inform the final product. And that is the problem I have with politicians out there, who are telling Kenyans that reject, and you kindly allow me to say this,
yes,
that reject the finance bill. And they're saying reject without even telling you what is wrong with it. Some of them have been ministers, and I want to pick one of them. You have been a minister in Uhuru's government for 10 years. My friend, Matiang. You passed finance bill, 10 of them. A lot of them with problems. Is it not true that there are so many finance bills that we passed with problems, which are hurting Kenyans, and they were passed? Instead of telling Kenyans reject, tell Kenyans, I have a problem with this provision in the finance bill. That is the responsible leadership. You cannot start and you address press conference without pointing out what you feel is wrong with the finance bill, and you tell Kenyans to reject. Is that the way you want to run the country? As a president, where people will just be rejecting finance bills that we produce, and you want to be the president of this country, unless it's not serious. If you want to be president of this country, please tell us what is wrong with the finance bill. If I were you today, I would give a proposal. I remember when Raila Odinga was still alive and put us in economic council, we were coming up with alternative proposals to the finance bill. I took a whole weekend analyzing the finance bill of 2023. And I did that and gave to my party leader then.
Okay.
And he came out explaining to Kenyans what was wrong with the finance bill. What is wrong with this present bill?
all right. Asante sana waziri kwa jibu hilo. Umejibu extensively wanavyosema akina Sheila ambao wanazungumza Kiingereza. Sasa nipate swali moja kutoka kwa hadhira yangu hapa. Kuna huyu bingwa ambaye amenyosha mkono. Naomba tu usimame, anza kwa jina lako, alafu uliza swali. Sawa sawa?
Niko na swali. My name is Henry Otieno. I'm a student at Kenyatta University. My question is on the smartphone issue. I've had the CS for Treasury, for whom I have tremendous respect for, talked about it. You know, smartphone is our daily lives, and we use this smartphone to do our everything. I've seen an excess duty of 25% imposed on smartphone issue. And you know, smartphone is something that we do, even the applications that we do with it, even though they don't go through. This is our bank also, for us who have banks, but there is no money to go to the banks. This is where we at least get to retain the small amounts that we have. I want to know if at all this 25% is there and it is imposed, and how, if it is imposed, how are we going to do in our daily lives without this phone?
Okay.
The last one, please.
Mwisho kabisa, fupisha maswali yako.
Yangu sasa itakuwa kuomba. Mimi ni student kule Kenyatta University, nimekuja hapa kwa sababu CS ako hapa. CS, mimi nimefungiwa nyumba saa hizi ni 2 weeks. Nirudi kwa nyumba. Hiyo ni kuomba. Asante sana.
Waziri, I hope you are taking notes. Tuna swali lingine hapa.
So my question is, if the economy improves, how soon will ordinary Kenyans actually feel the change? And if the economy improves, how soon will the ordinary Kenyans actually feel the change? My second question, if you are an ordinary Kenyan earning minimum wage today, will you feel hopeful about the future?
I think those questions would suffice for this particular moment as we allow the CS to answer those questions. And even as you ponder on those, Waziri, I want to steer this conversation kidogo away from that, and then we will answer the questions. Let's talk about, the filing changes. Now we see that the bill reduces the income tax returning file deadlines from 6 months to 4 months. So probably why this changes, is this not going to pose a challenge for the common wananchi and small businesses at the same time?
Thank you. Let me address these smartphones in a different way.
Okay.
First, the smartphone arrives at, say, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, or it is brought to the shelf where you buy it. And the cost up to the point of the shelf is 10,000. Let's take that for example. Today, there is excise tax of 10%, that is 1,000 shillings. There is customs duty of 25%, that is 2,500, right? There is VAT at 16%, that is 1,600. There is IDF at 2.5%, that is 250. There is RBL of 2%, that is 200 shillings. If you add all that, you find tax of 5,500. So that phone would cost you today 15,500. Now, what is the new change doing? The new change is saying that phone will be at the shelf. No, it will remain at 10,000. When you buy it, now you pay tax. So the time you buy it, you will only pay one tax. You will not pay customs duty. You will not pay VAT. You will not pay IDF, and you will not pay RBL. But you will pay excess duty, not at 10%, but at 25%. All the other taxes have been removed. And that means you pay 2,500. So the phone that would have costed you 15,500 would end up costing you 12,500 with the tax. Is that making it expensive or making it cheap? That is the explanation I will give and I've given. Now, the other question was, if economy improves, how soon will it be felt? There are some of the benefits of an improved economy that comes immediately. One of them, you will see interest rates. If you go to the bank, you find interest rate is at 22%. You may find that when you go to the bank, in an economy that is improving, the interest rates have come back down from 22% to say 15, 16%. That is an economy that is improving. The other one is where economy is creating more jobs. Because really, what economy must do is to create jobs. The other one is if you go to the bank and you want to buy foreign exchange, you will get it easily and you get it in a manner that it is affordable. So those are signs. And an economy that improves is an economy that can feed itself. So when people are eating, people are feeding themselves and can afford, that is an economy that has improved. Sometimes it takes time for this to be realized because economy takes time to be revived, especially where it has been run down so bad that now to bring it up will require a lot of effort.
Okay.
On the issue of, you are the one who was asked this, on filing.
Yes.
You know what we are saying is this, that the income year, the year of reporting, ends on 31st of December, right? The previous year. You have all the way at the moment up to June 30. Now what happens is everybody waits for that June 30, and then they jump the system. Now what we are saying, if you already know what you have earned, and most of us know how much we earned up to December, why do you wait until June to file your returns? We are not asking you to pay tax. You have already paid tax. It is just filing returns. You know, people are misunderstanding this, like we are asking you now to pay tax early. No, you have already paid tax up to December. That tax is already paid. We are just saying file your returns by April 30th, so that we don't have so many Kenyans, and you know Kenyans' time of doing things, even registering for voters, to vote, they come the last day. So here also they come the last day. And you know, if you fail to file your returns by 30th of June, and it goes to the following day, you will be penalized. So to avoid all those confusions, we are saying for personal income tax, where you already know the individual income, you already know how much you are paying anyway. Just tell us that up to December, I paid this, I earned this, and paid this. P9 is already there. So why do you wait until June?
All right.
That is what we are asking. File your returns by 30th of April. It is 4 months since the financial year ended, since you paid the tax.
Okay. All right. And
Should I
now
hope you'll be the first one?
I already did file my tax. I don't my returns. I don't know about you all. How are you? Mume file returns. Eh? All right. So we had compiled a list of some of the proposals, and my co-host Brian Furaha on the other side. Could you help us now tackle some of the proposals in this bill, and are we busting myths here? What are the facts and fictions? Let's hear from you, Brian.
Yes, we're calling this segment fact or fiction. Basically, I went online, nikaona jam sana, TikTok, Twitter, and some of these clauses or bills are what not. I would like you to actually maybe clear this up whether it's true or not. So if it's fact, you say it's fact. If it's fiction, this is fiction. The first one is residential income tax to rise from 7.5% to 10%. Is it fact or fiction?
Propaganda.
That's propaganda. Fiction. Thank you. There's a new bill that gives KRA power to collect data from your phone, i.e. tracking digital payments. Is this fact or fiction?
Come again?
A new bill that gives KRA the power to track your data from your phone. For example, digital payments.
That's fiction.
That's fiction.
Dangerous one. To incite, that is meant to incite the young generation. Please don't fall to that.
Thank you. There is an amendment of the Land Act removing freehold title deeds and turning them into leaseholds. Is this fact or fiction? Not in the Land Act.
Alright.
Thank you. And of course, this is very popular with you. 5% income on Mitumba tax. Maybe you can clarify more on this because
it is not in this bill, but I want it. Let me be very clear on this.
Why do you want it in this bill?
I want that Mitumba tax to be in the bill. It is not there, but I want it back.
Why?
Let me tell you. The reason for public participation, and you are the ones who have been asking this, is it just academic exercise, public participation? It should not. The Mitumba representatives came to my office, led by their national chair, came to my office, and you heard them the other day supporting that position. They came and they complained that at the moment, when they arrive with their Mitumba in containers, they are being taxed. There are so many taxes that are being levied on their Mitumba.
All right.
After that, then immediately they bring their Mitumba to the Kompa and open their shop. Then KRA staff are all over the place, asking them to compute how much profit they have made. So they asked me to come up with a simple tax regime for them. And I put them together with my team at the Treasury. And they're the ones who agreed first VAT to be charged only once at the point of entry. So that you don't follow Mitumba all the way to Nakuru, to Kisumu Kibuye market, to Makonga market in Suba, and you start asking how much VAT. So that we were eliminating by having only one VAT at the point of entry. Two, instead of disturbing these business people, who are small business people anyway, to calculate their profit and to hire accountants to file these returns, why don't we be simple? At the point of entry, calculate the value of the Mitumba, deem 5% of it as profit and tax that 5%. So 5%, if he has brought goods worth 1 million, 5% of 1 million is 50,000. 50,000, you tax 30%. That is 15,000. That is the tax that you charge them, and you forget about Mitumba person for life until he brings or she brings another container. People who don't understand Mitumba business are all over the place. They are the ones making noise. Lawyers in town who don't even know how to sell floaters. And they are the ones who are telling us that we are adding tax on Mitumba. Why can't they leave the Mitumba people to talk?
All right.
Mitumba people are so organized. If we were bringing a proposal that they don't want, you would hear them in the street. They would be demonstrating to Treasury building. Why are they making the loudest noise more than the bereaved? You know? I saw another friend of mine, Willis, writing a long paragraph. And he has no understanding, no clue about Mitumba. I don't think he has even won Mitumba in his life. He doesn't even know.
And I'm assuming we do have some Mitumba stakeholders here with us in this particular town hall. And I would be tasking Brian to find them so that we can get to hear
and
from
if they
them.
don't want the tax,
yes.
Sheila, if they don't want the tax, let them say that we don't want to go that route. Then we leave it. I will not make that proposal to National Assembly.
All right, so let's still go back to Brian.
I have a question for someone, right? And Waziri, I feel like this is very necessary. This is on Twitter. He's called XG Boost. Can you clearly name one major financial burden that ordinary Kenyans will pay less for because of Finance Bill 2026? Not theoretically, but practically. The government also promised to exempt or relieve pay for earners of less than 30K, or at least some relief. Is that also included? That is one of our viewers.
So one of the things that Kenyans will pay for, if you lose your parent today, who is supposed to be a pensioner, or is a pensioner, and you are the beneficiary, without this finance bill, you will be taxed on that pension. With this finance bill, if it goes through, you will get the benefits as a beneficiary without paying tax. The question that is asking about, I have already answered. The question of those who are earning 30,000 and below 50,000. This is something that we talked about. I talked about it, the president talked about it. And I've said severally that we have not abandoned it. We are processing this issue. Before the finance bill is concluded, we will have made a decision. Remember, we are in a very tricky situation. The war in Iran has completely disorganized our economy. And many other things. Look at it now, we are supposed to subsidize food more. So we have so many things to attend to. But even with that, we are still committed to ensuring that those who are paying taxes and they are earning low income, we want them to have a relief.
And speaking of relief, Waziri, and you know, we're talking about, we're trying to find the two stakeholders who are in this angle, and Josh will be taking up with them in a few. But before we talk to them and get any questions from the audience, you have earlier indicated that those would receive a tax. How is that possible?
It's actually the one that I've just I told you that first, you see, we were operating a relatively perfect environment. Then something happened. But clearly, we are losing more revenue with this war. We are likely to income more expenditure with this war. So we were still working on the numbers to see if we give this relief with all these holes that we really have, what is the effect? Because we have also a budget to finance. Sheila, I wish I had time just to break down to Kenyans how we are spending the revenue that we are likely to collect. Then you know what I'm talking about. However, because it was a commitment that we made, it is something that we are still actively pursuing and considering. So before we conclude this announcement, you will get the top announcement whether we are capturing it, carrying it along in Parliament. We still have this bill under public consultation.
All right, and from there, I know there are a lot of burning questions from the audience side. And maybe I do not know if you are in touch with some of the people who have burning questions by show of hands, and if we get to them, let's hear, tell us your name, where you're from, and what is your question. Very brief and precise, and let's not read all the
All right, thank you so much, Sheila. Of course, we have very many hands here, but I think just to save on time, I'll ask this gentleman to be upstanding. Please shoot your question, make it very brief. Sawa sawa?
Thank you.
Asante.
Waziri, my name is Mbadi, and I'm in the transport sector. Even though fuel costs now are being affected by the global ongoings, and also I know the reality of our national financial status, I would like you to know I would like to know what steps, as a prudent government, you have put in place to ensure roads will be maintained. Number two, we continue to train our people, our members. However, accidents are still a real concern. What plans have you put in place to support this? Thank you.
All right, asante sana. Do we have another question?
Thank you, Waziri. I'm happy to see you as a Waziri because you were my AP for 15 years from Super South. Waziri, one day I heard you addressing the government officials, you among them, and you requested that if any case there are people in government who are misusing funds, you pleaded with them that if they are taking 100, they can even reduce and take 50. My question is this: the problem with Kenyans, the problem with Kenyans with this government is trust. Right now, you are increasing the tax base so that you capture majority. Meaning, people are paying tax are very few. And the issue is, even the little which is being collected cannot be accounted for. We want to see this government even arresting five people and putting to jail. You have admitted that you inherited a rotten system. And what are you doing about it? We will be very happy when we see at least even 5 government officials arrested. And if they are not paying tax, who is giving them this immunity? Who is protecting them and why? Thank you very much.
All right, Wazir, would you answer that?
Yes, thank you very much. Now, the first question was from, by the way, he's not my brother. Mbadi, with the hyphen there. Now, he has asked about guarantee on maintenance of roads. The guarantee on maintenance of roads, I will tell you, yes, things are difficult, things are thick, but we have the road maintenance levy, which is 18 shillings per litre. The 7 shillings per litre, it is 25 shillings, and the 7 shillings we used to do the major roads, the major construction and payment of the contractors, the road construction works that are installed. But the 18 shillings is still helping in maintaining roads. We are also allocating extra budgets. I will tell you that it's almost 70 billion that we added in the development budget for the 2026-27 to do our roads and maintain them. So there should be no much worry. I know Kenya in this region has the longest kilometers of paved roads, and we are very proud of that. But we have deployed resources to make sure that those roads are maintained. In terms of accidents, there are a number of strategies that we are employing. One of them is the instant fine that we are introducing through the NTSA. We are also looking at how we can streamline that sector in terms of insurance, because it's a problem. There is a problem. And we are also pleading with the players in that space. I know you are in the border space. Your members, kindly talk to them to behave on the roads. And also, we talk to the matatu operators to behave. Sometimes, the matatu operators, the border behave on the roads. A few of them, not all of them, by the way. Many are disciplined. But some behave like they own the road. So let us make sure that we respect the rules and we respect, so that we take care of our lives and the lives of others. On the Super South person, I did not say that if you are stealing 100, start stealing 50. These are some of the, when you give, how do I put it? When you give comparisons and examples, that people misunderstand you.
So you were misunderstood.
What I said was this, that assuming, we say there's two, it's a former president who said, we lose 2 billion every day. And we have 365 days in a year, or 366 in some years. Now, I say if people are stealing 2 billion, assuming those who are stealing, it was reduced to half, they steal half. Assuming, does not mean go and steal half. I said you make an assumption, Those of us who are mathematicians, we used to make assumptions. So if you make an assumption and say only 50% is lost, that is 1 billion saved a day. That is 360 billion per year. I said the money that we borrow from IMF is less than 100 billion. Why would I go to IMF to borrow money when we have 365 billion which can be bought locally? Or double that if we could stop stealing all of us. So that is what I say. I was just giving examples so that you can see the gravity of the theft of public funds. It is not that I was encouraging people to steal 50%. And I also say, most of you steal and you take it to Dubai. How I wish after stealing, bare minimum, you invest it here. So that instead of creating jobs in Dubai, Tanzania and the rest, you create them here, we will arrest you after you have done that, but there will be jobs locally. Now, a trust deficit is there, and that is why we are getting to communicate better as a government, so that people can understand that. On accounting for resources and jailing people, remember what I can do as Minister for Finance is to come up with a legal framework and administrative measures that will deter theft of public funds. One of them is the e-procurement that I just introduced. And many others. We have Treasury single account. I've brought a lot of reforms, including on human resource. The government has implemented now what we call an integrated system of payment, which is being rolled out before the end of this year, so that we cut on opportunities that people had to steal our resources. Right. But in terms of jailing, remember, we are a democratic society. You arrest someone, you take that person to jail, then, before the case starts, they have appealed. They have filed a petition on constitutional reference. That is, the constitutional rights are being abused. I don't know how you have stolen our money, and you are still claiming constitutional rights. But we are a democracy. If we went and started picking these people and detaining them, we would see you here in the streets demonstrating human rights violation, and it is true. So allow the law to take its course. Allow our constitution to function. We have a judiciary. People will be arrested, taken there. Some will be released. Some will go through the process. Some are jailed, by the way. Right. But we need more people to be, more action. Okay. I agree. Our judiciary, I'm sure, will not rest down on this.
All right.
Yes.
Sheila, tunapoendelea na mazungumzo haya, tusikilize baadhi tu ya maswali pia hapa. Kuna binti hapa, naomba usimame ili uulize swali lako kwa kifupi.
Asante sana. Kwa majina ni Roslyn Alionya, agency, and I want to first thank all of you, whether you support the bill or you think otherwise. You being here to raise the concerns for the CS to respond to them, inamaanisha kwamba we love our country. The reason why I'm saying that is because I lost my friends in 2024. I don't want us to repeat the same thing. Kama kitu ni mbaya, the CS is here, he is able to address. For those who are supporting certain sections, the CS is here, and whether you like it or not, I want you to clap for yourselves for being here. Secondly, there's a video that our friend Eric Omondi has made, and I know all of us have watched it, where he has rallied people to read the finance bills. And today in the morning he said that the government might be hiding behind price fuel so that they distract us from the finance bills. Sio kila mtu amewatch. Today we want to ask Waziri, kindly respond to our brother, but even as you do so, because if there's anything you could be hiding in the finance bill, using the fuel as a distraction, you are here to elaborate. But also, I want to ask our Kenyans today, Eric Omondi was not
that once again, let's calm down and listen to these people. Everyone has freedom of expression. All right. All right. No politics. All right, let me take it back to Waziri.
Allow me to address this issue.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Roslyn has asked. I have not watched Eric Omondi, but I'm told he has been knocking doors. And by the way, Eric Omondi is actually a very good gentleman, my friend. And over the years, we have fought together. So I don't want to mean what he's doing. I think what he has done for us is to enlighten people more on the finance. Yes. He is actually our friend, in my view, as National Treasury. Because he's bringing forward a conversation. But let me just say this. Whether the issue of fuel is a distraction, if at all that can be a distraction, it will be a very costly distraction. I want you to hear me on this.
All right.
If that was a distraction, it would be a very costly distraction. I don't think any government would want such kind of distraction. And there were no major issues with finance bill to warrant such kind of distraction.
Okay.
I'll tell you this, what we have lost because of the 2 days of demonstration as a country is so much that no sane government would employ such kind of a strategy. The finance bill that we have has no hidden provisions. It is there for public view. If there is anything that anyone believes is offensive, is oppressive, is going to add burden to the people of Kenya, bringing that.
Okay.
A number of them have been brought out. You have brought out the issue of phone, because you think that is going to be a problem. You have brought out other issues like bottled water. You have addressed it. In fact, far from it, someone was saying that we are introducing excise duty on bottled water. Already, as we speak, there is excise duty. We are removing it. We are making bottled water cheaper because it is no longer luxury.
Right.
Then someone reported or brought it out on the opposite, that we are introducing financial. That is the kind of conversation that I want. And that is why I get really, really frustrated, Sheila. I don't know where you are in a hurry to, where you want to go. You know, Sheila, that is the frustration that I have with the opposition.
Yes.
The opposition should address one press conference with finance bill and enumerate to Kenyans into detail that yes, the finance bill as published by Mbadi has this problem, has this problem, has this problem. Then I can engage them and explain myself or tell them you don't understand me, or I accept that what you have said is correct, we will withdraw this, we will remove it. But you cannot stand at a press conference if you want to be a president or you want to be a finance minister for the future in another government. And you tell us that the finance bill is bad, reject, without pointing out even one provision in the finance bill, which you have a problem with. Then that becomes careless, reckless politics that should not be allowed in modern.
All right, we do have a few minutes to wind up this conversation, this particular town hall, and there are very many burning questions. But guys, I would ask you that we do this with a lot of decorum. Let's respect each other's point of view. Let's not heckle. Let's listen through the questions, because we are all here to understand the Finance Bill 2026. And just mbele yangu naona someone with a really burning question. I don't know if we could get a mic close to you. So Onsare, could you help me find this gentleman so that we can hear what are some of his concerns and what does he want the CS Treasury to answer in respect to the Finance Bill 2026. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Waziri Mbadi, I'm George Onyango from Kenyatta University. I have a question relating to the fuel subsidy issue. I have a question relating to the fuel subsidy issue. When you started, you stated that the government allocated around 17 billion for the fuel subsidy. On the first month, the government spent around 6.2 billion. On the second month, the government spent around 5 billion. And then you stated that the government has again allocated around 2.7 billion in that 17 billion. My question is this: we are not yet sure when the Strait of Hormuz will be opened. Suppose like that subsidy amount, the 17 billion that was allocated for the subsidy, depletes. What are we going to do? Does our financial capability as a country allow us to get some other cash, some amount somewhere to subsidize the fuel issue? Number two, when we are talking about G2G, we know that our hands are tied as a country because we have got specific companies that were contracted under the G2G to import fuel into the country, and they have got their own specific points of imports where they bring the fuel. As a country, are we in that position that we can contact other companies outside the G2G so that we can get perhaps a cheaper fuel? Because we understand that these companies that were contacted under the G2G, they bring their fuel from probably Middle East countries. Sometimes you might find that these companies that you are going to contact outside the G2G, they can look for other avenues apart from the Strait of Hormuz. Then the last one, Waziri, this is just a concern. There's this issue about whenever you prepare the financials, whatever, you put estimates for state departments on specific amounts they are supposed to use during a specific financial year. But there's this issue that always comes up, supplementary budgets. You find that most state departments, in their supplementary budgets, they tend to overuse their like you find financial year runs from June to June. But you find that probably after a quarter financial year, a specific State Department has already used the amount that it was allocated.
All right.
You realize that they tend to overspend.
Okay.
How are we going to cap that? Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much for that, for those 3 questions. But I would ask before the CS answers those 3 questions, that if you're asking a question, let's ask 1 question each. Make it very short, and please, let's not repeat what has been asked before. We want to get as many answers as possible, and I have seen that Andrine and Joash are on the audience. Can you find us? Who is the next one to ask the question?
All right, Sheila, I am over here and we have very many questions. Maswali ni mengi kutoka kwenye hadhira, lakini si hapa tu, hata mitandaoni naona ni mwecheche wanavyosema vijana. Na naomba niulize swali moja tu kutoka mitandaoni, kwenye mtandao wa X, anajiita CPA Kamadhi Limuki. Anasema, please ask CS, why is the filing date being moved up from June to April? Most SMEs spend Q1 scouting for new businesses, making bookkeeping and eventual annual audits a Q1 priority in preparation for tax filing by end of June. Waziri, ningetaka swali hilo ushikilie papo hapo, lakini tupate maswali mengine kutoka kwenye hadhira hii. Tunao pia akina mama ambao wako kwenye hadhira, watakuwa kiuliza maswali. Naomba usimame.
Habari zenu. I'm Margaret Wayona from the human rights. I'm a human rights defender. And there is something that captured my eyes in that finance bill, Mr. CS. I don't know whether it's a comment. Those non-Kenyans that want to invest in Kenya, the VAT has been reduced from 37.5% to 30%. It's a plus because this will create job opportunities to Kenyans. That is a plus. You talked of propaganda. You can counter propaganda with the right information. That is all I wanted to air. And I know the shoes you are wearing, si rahisi, but anyway, thank you for that. It's a compliment. Because many Kenyans will be able to get job opportunities. And we also urge investors to invest in Kisumu. Kisumu, UK, United Kisumu, Asante sana.
All right, I think we could start with that, Waziri. Get to just answer the questions from, the lady that we've had. Just conclude right now, and the gentleman that did ask 3 questions. Over to you, Waziri.
So I start with exhausting the fuel subsidy.
Yes.
Yes, we had just about 17 billion. And by the way, we built this reserve for any eventuality. That eventuality struck. And we didn't know for how long this would take. So we took a decision as a government to be pragmatic and to be careful not to exhaust that subsidy the first month. So we used 6.2, now we used 5. But we have been forced now to use more because of the strike. If you have to subsidize or lower the price of fuel more, you have to spend it from somewhere. That somewhere is the fuel subsidy. Okay? So the remaining amount may not be so significant, but we hope that things will happen in a way that prices will start coming down.
Yes.
In fact, I have been told that the prices in May had shown signs of coming down. If that happens, we may not require as much subsidy as we would have required. But up to the end of June, we now have just barely over 2 billion shillings if we spend this other 2.7. And then after that, we will have another budget. So that is the answer. On G2G, the companies we have contracted are some of the world's leading oil marketing companies. The Saudi Aramco is known worldwide as a major oil marketing company. We have the Abu Dhabi is also known, the one in Abu Dhabi is also known to be one major oil marketing company, together with the one of Emirates. Now, all these companies have the capacity to source for fuel elsewhere. As a matter of fact, the fuel that they are supplying us with today is not from that Middle East. Because you can't get fuel from Middle East.
Yes.
They are going elsewhere. So there is no need to even look for another oil marketing company to source the fuel for you elsewhere. These companies are already doing that. And the benefit, Sheila, that probably Kenyans have not appreciated is that this G2G, we locked the freight charges with the contract that we signed. Today, the logistics costs, the premium, the insurance, combined is at least 230 US dollars per metric ton.
Yes.
But they are still supplying us with between 78 and 97 US dollars per metric ton because we have a contract with them. This is a benefit to us. If that did not happen, prices would even go up.
Okay.
On supplementary budgets, sometimes some expenditures cannot be predicted. Like when we had the drought and we spent close to 13 billion, we didn't know we would have that. So supplementary budgets comes in there. There are other sectors like security.
All right.
NIS has not been appreciated, but they talk and help this country in many, many cases where we probably would have been victims of serious attacks. So when they come to ask for more money to support their operation, we cannot explain to Kenyans into detail what they are actually doing with that money. So that is why we allow some security expenditure. If there is a problem in Rift Valley, for example,
all right,
we have to take security officers there. They have to live there, they have to eat, we have to give them equipment and all that. That comes to supplementary budget. On my friend CPA Kamadi, I think he asked a question that we have already addressed, but let me address it, the issue of filing of the tax. It is individual income tax, the salary people. It's not those small businesses that are given up to that.
all right.
Margaret, I agree with you, Margaret. Non-residents, we have lowered the tax rate to 30%. This is to motivate and encourage people who are coming to invest in Kenya to pay lower corporate tax as opposed to what they are paying today. And you see, this is also good because we are standardizing and making uniform corporate tax so that some people don't pay 37.5 and others are paying.
All right.
So it is, I agree with you, it's a benefit.
Okay, all right, Waziri, we want to wrap up, but before that, one last question from Andrin Kilemi, and then you could be thinking about your parting shot to Kenyans who are feeling the pinch of the high cost of living. Probably, what would you tell them? All right, Andrin Kilemi, take over before...
All right, thank you, Sheila. We still have very many questions online, but I'll just highlight one. How does the government justify increasing the tax burden on a generation whose creative economy already contributes approximately 5% to Kenya's GDP, while formal employment remains limited and over 18 million Kenyans survive through informal and digital economic activity? That is, I am Batman, who is following online. We have one comment and one question, Waziri, if you could allow us, kindly. So we'll start with you, ma'am.
Good evening, I'm a mother and a comrade. My name is Dina Waragai, and I'm a social justice activist and a women's rights advocate. Waziri, I just want to encourage you. I know that that seat is hot, but you're equal to the task. I'm engaging with the bill, and I'm seeing that MSMEs are going to have a good environment because the cost of doing business will be lowered. And also tax filing is not going to be complicated. Waziri, I also want to encourage you that even as you do what you're doing, which is unique, you're the first finance minister that is demystifying the docket by meeting the people where they are at. So that is a plus. And I also want to say that as you go along, please take the people with you. Sometimes people get angry because they are not communicated to effectively. And so I'm urging you to make sure that you have people on the ground that are communicating what it is that you have in these bills, and so that the nation can understand, and do it in a language that people can understand. Just like you say, kulipa ushuru ni kujitegemea. Come up with other slogans like those ones that are simple, that the common wananchi can understand. But otherwise, I wish you well, because if you fail, we also fail, and we don't want to fail. Thank you.
Thank you. One last question from my end. Yes?
Yeah, good evening. I'm Munyoki Mwangangi, a social justice crusader. Waziri, having a prudent tax regime that is not guarded against stealing is equivalent to robbing an orchard at night and getting away with the fruit before it is ripe. What are the measures that you are taking to ensure that our tax, when you take them, they are not stolen? Number two, Waziri, why do you tax mobile phone when they are sold? Because when you tax that mobile phone on the sale, the one who bears the burden is the buyer. The seller will increase the price in order for the buyer to buy. Now, why don't you wait until I buy the phone and then you tax my creativity with the phone? Thank you.
Asante sana. Back to you,
Okay,
Shida.
those will be the last set of questions that Waziri is answering before we wrap up, and he gives us his parting shot. Let's begin with the first question.
Thank you. The first question that you asked, I think that was a political statement, where someone, the one you read from
X.
X space. I say so because the person I just said, they are taxing people. I was listening to hear which specific provision in the finance bill which we have proposed is targeting creative economy. I don't agree. So I took it as a political statement, and there are many such political statements. I agree that we are making MSMEs better in terms of simplifying the tax, and that is why I was appealing to those who are resisting the tax on mitumba, kindly allow these MSMEs to be taxed the way they want and the way they have suggested. Demystifying the ministry, yes, I am trying my best to open up this ministry and communicate better. Some people who have a problem with that are saying I'm talking too much. I will talk too much until Kenyans understand what is going on at the national street. If that is what is required for Kenyans to engage. Why do you tell me not to talk? Yeah? If my business is not just signing files at the Treasury, I want to communicate with Kenyans. I want to hear you. I want to feel you. You should hear me and feel me. Yes.
Yes.
On stealing of taxes, what have I done? The area where we have identified, and we identified where we lose a lot of money, is procurement. You'll agree with me that in this country we are operating where if you don't know someone, you can hardly get business with any government. Sure. We have decided to do away with that by digitizing, bringing e-procurement. It has been resisted for almost a year, but we are succeeding because now e-procurement, the argument they used to have, it is not working. I don't know whether you are hearing that anymore. It has proved that it is working. From July 1st, there will be no exemption. Everybody, any government department, ministry, department, agencies will go to e-procurement and procure. You will not procure outside e-procurement. I will not give those exemptions anymore. I allowed the space because this is the first year of implementation, but we have agreed that the whole government will go e-procurement. Two, on Treasury single account, we have already implemented it. It is saving us a lot of money. Some invoices were being paid so many times. The government could have money in one account and borrowing from in another account. Because because you are not able to see all the money that the government has. Now we have a treasury single account where we can see all our accounts and all the money that is sitting in those accounts. We are doing a lot to improve our systems to make sure that we stop the theft of public funds. But sometimes people mistake me for being a police officer. You think I'm director of public prosecution. I am Minister for Finance. I put in place systems, the legal framework that will deter theft. Then there are other institutions like PSCC, like Auditor General, like Controller of Budget. All these institutions are now supposed to kick in and use the legal framework that you have put in place to apprehend and get and deter theft of public.
All right, asante sana Waziri for the in-depth analysis that we have had of the finance bill. Perhaps any last parting shot?
No, the parting shot for me is that first I want to thank Kenyans very much and thank the audience that we have had. We have had perfect engagement. I am ready, I am sitting here to engage on all issues, finance, all matters, national treasury, issues of governance. I will be ready anytime to come back and explain anything that has not been understood. I want to plead with you and appeal to Kenyans. Please, this country called Kenya is only one. If we destroy it, if we burn it, we will not have another country. It is not easy to live in exile. Let us not behave carelessly and recklessly. If there is a problem of governance, let us point to that problem and deal with it. If there is a problem with finance bill, let us point it out so that we can remove it. But it is careless and reckless to incite people to go to the streets to oppose and reject a finance bill without telling them anything that is wrong with that bill. It is careless, it is reckless, it is a clear demonstration that you are not mature enough to lead this country.
Thank you very much, CS Treasury John Mbadi, for the insightful conversation we've had around the Finance Bill 2026. And of course, the conversation does not end here. So let's take this conversation online on all our digital platforms on TV47 KE, TV47 Digital, all over TikTok, Instagram, X. Let's have this conversation. I am Sheila Chelangat, but I have not been alone. I have been with my colleagues Andreen Kilemi, Joash Onsare, and of course, Brian Furaha. So for tonight, we call it a wrap, but